Welcome back to the Aussie Millions at Crown Casino in Melbourne, Australia. The 100K event is well underway and we've already lost a few of our big players, and someone is a few steps closer to that first prize of $1.2 million.
We are down to just 8 players vying for a first prize of $1.2 million. The river is a 3 of hearts and we lose. Howard Lederer, the professor of poker. So Billy pumps the fist. 83,000 in that one. And Phil Ivey calls. And he does. He moves all in. That will do it for the one-time chip leader. And now Barry's already pulled his book out.
Bloom pulls out.
And the river is a 3 of hearts, so we will lose Tony G in 5th place. Hello, I'm Paul Curry, and we are at the final table of the $100,000 event at the Aussie Millions. Now, first place is a massive $1.2 million, and second place is a tasty $600,000. It is worth noting that if Phil Ivey manages either of those, he will become the winningest player in the history of tournament poker, pulling ahead of Daniel Negreanu.
That's true. He's still got plenty to do, though, before he can topple Daniel. There are very tough opponents waiting at the felt who would love to send him to the rail first. Ivey is the one they all want to scalp.
Well, let's get to the action.
We started with 24 players, now only 4 remain.
20,000.
First prize, $1.2 million. Tony Bloom in the red shirt. Stares down at 10 jack offsuit. He has the button.
Raised 50,000.
And he raises it to 50,000.
Definitely the kind of hand you want to see a flop with.
Call.
Billy Giordano makes the call with ace-7 offsuit. And 2 of them will see a flop.
Billy choosing to defend his blind there. He is slightly ahead. And he's very ahead. The flop is ace-10-7. But Tony's caught middle pair here.
This is a very nasty spot for Tony Bloom.
And look at this. Billy fires with his 2 pair. 35,000 at Tony Bloom. Tony raised pre-flop, may elect to represent the ace. What he doesn't know is he may be walking into a trap.
200.
And he bets 200,000. He is walking into a trap.
Billy Giordano got those chips over the line faster than Usain Bolt. And Tony Bloom sees the bad news. He's going to need running cards. He does have Giordano out-chipped, so whatever happens, he will survive.
Oh, Billy's got a lot of people in the crowd cheering for him. Tony can catch a 10. And only a 10 now. The turn of 3 of diamonds. Can Billy survive? Or will Tony get lucky and eliminate him in 4th place?
The river, the 8 of spades. Giordano doubles through that pot worth 366,000. Tony Bloom permits himself a rueful shrug as his chips disappear over the black felt towards the colourfully dressed Billy Giordano.
Four players still remain in the chase for $1.2 million in a first prize in the biggest buy-in tournament in the world. Action on Dan Shack from New York. He folds around to Billy Giordano, the only Australian at the table, who will raise to 60,000 with pocket tens. And Phil Ivey, right next to him, will call with ace-6 offsuit.
Phil Ivey has position here. He wouldn't be quite so happy if he could see those tens. Let's see what the flop brings for him.
Queen, queen, 6. So Phil's paired is 6.
That will seem very strong to him. 2 pairs with top kicker.
Oh, Billy checks and Phil Ivey bets 80,000 and is quickly called by Billy. So we will go to the turn.
No messing around from Billy there. A 3 brings down a possible flush.
Action on Billy now.
Neither player has a heart.
He checks again. Phil takes another look.
He'll be wary of how fast Billy Giordano called his bet on the flop. Certainly what someone with a good heart draw might have done.
Check.
And look at that, Phil Ivey checks behind him. The river, a jack of hearts.
Well, that should put the brakes on this.
Check.
The danger of the flush apparent to all.
Billy checks and Phil, who looked like he wanted to bet, eventually checked and will muck. Billy gives his fans in the crowd a bit of a signal.
Damage limitation there, though, by Ivey. Lost the absolute minimum.
The button is on Dan Shack. The big blind on Phil Ivey.
So action with Tony Bloom, the odds maker and football club owner.
Raise to 50,000.
Looks at ace-7 of clubs, raises to 50,000. Dan Shack takes a peek, finds king, queen of diamonds.
Four-handed, that is very strong holdings. And we know Dan likes to gamble. At least a call coming here.
10 seconds.
Correct, Grub. He makes the call over to Billy Giordano, who's picked up 6-7 of diamonds, suited connector.
Well, there hasn't been a raise, so the pot odds are attractive. Billy in the small blind.
Look at this. He's picked a big stack of yellows. No, he just makes the call. He was tricking us. Round to Phil Ivey, who looks down at Jack 5 offsuit and tosses it away. So we are 3 players to the flop.
And it comes down ace, queen, 8 with 2 hearts. So top pair for Tony Bloom. A queen for Dan Shack. Billy Giordano to act first.
Well, Billy's really got none of this, so he's out of position. He checks.
Check.
Tony checks top pair. And Dan, well, you wouldn't blame him if he had a stab here. Tony quickly called, but look at this. He's checked.
Very cagey play, and that completes a possible heart flush. That may slow things down a little.
Check.
None of our players holding a heart.
Billy quickly checks. Tony Bloom now. Will he bet his ace?
85.
85,000.
He will. 85,000. Now it's over to Dan Shack, who's probably thinking, maybe I should have bet that flop. But it doesn't look like he's going anywhere just yet.
He has only second pair. There's a heart flush out there. But has he picked something up? He says 285.
Well, Dan Shack.
Putting the moves on Tony Bloom there.
Hold.
That's some poker. Billy gets out of the way, and all of a sudden Tony Bloom's hand shrinks up and